Hello, I'm Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this is day 14 of our Inward Bound Bootcamp to Self-Transformation. Well, a lot of what I'm sharing with you today are elements and parts of a process that I'm calling the transformational process. Uh, you learning how to go through this process of self-transformation is a big deal. And there's elements that are part of it that may show up within this 4 weeks, or it may be that you've already experienced some of this, or you will be experiencing this, or you may not at all. But these are elements of my own experience and elements of experiences that I've stewarded other people through in their self-transformation. So I share these things with you and these processes with you as ways of being prepared so that if these things happen to you, or if you experience these, you go, oh, I know what that is. And it's not so scary, it's not so foreign, it's not so mind-blowing. Everything I'm sharing with you is what is experienced by so many people, if not every person, in their evolution and their self-transformation. But we don't talk about it, and in terms of the therapeutic domain of diagnosis and medical and mental illnesses, this is something that's considered out of what's normal. But truly, it's very normal. And so that's part of why I want you to know about this in these bootcamp challenges, so that you can be prepared for, oh, this is normal. And in fact, I Google things like this as I'm writing and preparing for these videos so that I can see how normal it is. So I can share that with you. I know it's normal because I've gone through it many, many, many times. And like I said, I've stewarded other people through these processes many, many times. So if it feels uncomfortable, feel free to contact a therapist, a medical practitioner, your wellness practitioner, energy workers, psychics, massage therapists, or coaches for support, so that you know that you are taken care of. And that's a very good thing. So as you're evolving in this process, even in week, we're at the close to the end of week 3 here, you've been exploring who you are, and you're getting to know yourself to a greater degree. And you may be deepening your explorations in ways that you hadn't before. And you might tap into some energies or some experiences that feel very, very uncomfortable and scary. In a sense, what's called a dark night of the soul is very normal. In fact, I've had at least 3 of them in my lifetime, where I am going into a place that my client Kevin calls an abyssness, where it's like, what's there? What makes sense? And it's a place where you enter, and it feels like there's no meaning. Like it's a point of many midlife crises where people lose their sense of meaning. That's what they had make meaning in their life no longer does make meaning. And it collapses our whole sense of truth. It collapses our whole sense of identity. People who have been identified with their careers in let's say, moving up the corporate ladder, and they get fired, and their house is possessed and their car is possessed, and they're left with very little, their whole reality of meaning quite often disappears. Or if you've had a loved one or a relationship that has ended, quite often it's like, what makes sense in the world? Or if there's cataclysmic, horrendous environmental issues going on, it can also destroy our sense of meaning. So quite often through this process, inadvertently or intentionally, we can come to a place of understanding these dark nights of the soul and invite them in, if you will, so that we can explore them consciously. A number of years ago, I did a podcast called Spiritual Immersion, Taking the Plunge. And the intention of that podcast, is 100 different podcasts on that series, is to invite you and engage you to consciously immerse yourself little by little, incrementally, into this process, again, of self-transformation and self-acknowledgement, appreciation, so that you can get comfortable with all of you and get comfortable asking the difficult questions. Who am I? What makes sense to me? What has meaning? What has purpose in my life? What is value in my life? And not just asking the questions, but actually answering them for yourself. And it can take you into some really scary places because you can say, well, I've always listened to what my father said, or I always listen to what the church says, or I always listen to what my monk says, my Buddha teacher says. And now I have to listen to myself. I have to really be with myself in this process. So this is a big part of this unfolding is being getting in touch with or immersing yourself in these processes that are called dark nights of the soul. In another book, in a book I wrote called Self-Empowerment 101, I talk about the wisdom of no escape. I sailed across the Atlantic Ocean, and on that journey, I was in some pretty scary places. But because I couldn't escape, couldn't get off the boat, I had some very amazing transformative experiences. So that's what's available to us when we can't escape from our circumstances. We have an opportunity to immerse ourselves in a place where transformation occurs. Sometimes illnesses and diseases are these vehicles, these vessels for self-transformation, because quite often we can't escape those, but they can transform us. So I think I'll leave it there today. And if you have any comments, please leave them below. I'd love to hear where perhaps you've had a moment or an opportunity or circumstance of no escape and what transformation showed up for you at that time. I'd love to hear it. And please, if you haven't already, like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I would be very happy if you wanted to share these with your friends or family. All right, that's it for now. Bye-bye.